Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 20 is subject to change.
Yes.
We are very, very, very excited. We've got a new guest on. I've reached out to this lad a couple of months ago. Follow him on TikTok.
Yeah, we do.
Big fan. Will Gibb. Bro, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. What a palace I'm in. Beautiful house. Beautiful people.
We call this the Love Dungeon.
It is the Love Dungeon.
So welcome, my friends.
Yeah, thank you.
I took away all the chains. I thought that would be really awkward.
Love Dungeon
He's
sounds
usually
illegal.
got like He's usually got like the pillows laid out there, but he didn't have that here as we're recording.
I thought that'd been weird in the pod.
Yeah, it's because you left this morning.
But thank you very much for coming on, mate. As Dan just said, we've both been following you for quite a while, and your content's just funny. We both follow him on TikTok initially.
Yeah.
And it's weird because your content just kept popping up. So obviously with the algorithm, they obviously knew I was enjoying it. Because they were just real life things that are just issues, but just funny. But first of all, we just want to like find a little bit about you.
Yeah.
Like, where are you from? Why did you get into comedy?
So yeah, I'm from here, Australia. Obviously, we were discussing before. Born in England, which is mad. So shout out to the Poms.
Shout
out to the UK.
And yeah, like I went to. I was very lucky. Like have great parents. They're not dead. They're alive. Have great parents.
Hello, parents.
Really, really fun, like, upbringing. Went to really good schools.
Yeah.
So, like, I was very lucky in, like, that regard. Like,
Around where? What kind of area did you grow up?
Sydney,
Okay,
eastern suburbs area.
Yeah.
So, like, which is the more sort of, for those that aren't from Sydney, the more affluent, I guess, sort of area of
That's a nice
Australia.
way to describe it.
Full of pieces of shit. We can swear, right?
Yeah, of course.
Full of
Absolutely.
cunts.
Fucking go for it.
My mum's not going to like this.
I was getting bollocked by a few people for swearing too much, and I was like, well, if you don't like it, you can get fucked.
Yeah.
As simple as.
But yeah, like, so grew up, and like I always wanted to do comedy and stuff like that. Like I always knew that, because I wasn't like a sporty player. Like I played sport and I love sport, but I wasn't like amazing at it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really good at anything else other than comedy. Like drama. Well, at the time it was drama.
Yeah.
And that was sort of the only thing where I was like, oh, like I'm the best at this.
Yeah.
And I think there are like different periods of time where like I could feel like I'd get like my first taste of like, oh, this is like virality, or you know what I mean? Like I remember in year 9, now this is fucked, but my school in year 9, we would go on a 6-month camp. Like we'd get sent to a camp in the Southern Highlands for 6 months.
What?
Yeah, and we'd have to like camp, learn how to caving, like all that shit. We didn't see our parents, no one.
Shut
Was
for
it
6
legal?
months. Yeah. No, it was illegal. Yeah, no one knows about
So
it.
the government knew about this.
Yeah. They just told us to get in the back of the van, and
We were gone, woke up. I think it was 6 months.
Parents are like, where are the kids? You just pop up back at Christmas time. It's like, hey, we're back. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so that was bizarre, but I remember like this writer came in and like he was like, oh, like everyone writes some short stories, and I remember I read mine out and everyone was loving it, and then like so that was like my first bit of like, oh, okay, like I can be funny. And then I remember I like went not viral, but like according to my friends, like I for the HSC, like my final studies, I live streamed myself studying. Like I didn't talk to the camera. I just like set and I was just like doing stuff. And I remember, it got like 500 views. But everyone was talking about it, and I was like, holy shit! Like this, I'm like,
It's just set up, just like watching you.
yeah. And I was like, I'm like breaking ground. Like I don't know. Like obviously I wasn't, but. And then, like, I don't know, I guess, like, those little moments, stuff like that, like, led me up to eventually... And then I would post on Gram, and it was only my friends getting feedback. And then when I found out about TikTok and stuff, I still got on it quite late. Like, it's probably just been a year now since I've been posting.
Because I remember when I first saw one of your bit of content, I actually went on your page to, like, see when your most recent one was. And it was probably, like, a year ago. I was like, oh, he's obviously just started this.
Yeah.
I think I saw one of your first videos.
Yeah. And from there, like, when I started posting on there, it took like a couple videos to like get, like
100%.
like a thing, like I guess like my first big video, but then it was like, oh, sick, like this is like other people and you get to meet them, and like it's great when your friends love your stuff, but they're always gonna love your stuff, and so it was great to like breach out of that and sort of get into this sort of bigger world of posting, which was really cool.
And why did you decide to use TikTok? Because obviously there's loads of different social media platforms. There's Instagram, there's obviously TikTok, there's obviously Facebook, which obviously our generation don't really use.
Yeah.
But like there's so many other options. Why was TikTok the option? Did you do it, was it by accident, or was this like a calculated decision knowing like the possibilities that TikTok was going to give you?
I reckon like it was definitely the thing was like the algorithm was like the big one because when it comes to Instagram, like I was posting on there and again, like only the people that followed me would see it. And like this idea that someone with 0 followers can post a video.
Yeah, exactly.
And not even that it can get 1 million views, but the fact that it can get views. 0 followers, no one's following you, but you can get 100 views. So it's like you're introducing yourself to 100 people, which is so many. Like if you walked into a room of 100 people, that's so many. So, like, that made me think, well, obviously, like, I'm going to post my stuff on here because, like, and the way I did it was, like, I'll do it for Instagram and throw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
That's
exactly how you have to do it now, especially in a very content-heavy industry. Like, content is king. I do marketing, so, like, that's all we always talk about. Like, content's king. You got to always have good, solid content. So I think a lot of the times it's about just not overthinking it.
Yeah.
And just kind of just throwing it up and just let it ride the algorithm TikTok wave. And as you said, you can have 0 followers and literally go viral and have 100 followers in 3 days.
I think that's why. Go on.
There's one girl on TikTok. I can't remember. Oh, her name's Sienna. Has she ever popped up in your For You page?
Sienna, I think.
She's an American girl, but she literally her first TikTok video. Literally, I think it ended up with 30 million views or something ridiculous.
What did she do?
It was literally of her dancing. Like she had like her belly out. She was dancing to like a Cardi B song, and she had her belly out like that, like being really flabby, and it was quite funny. And it blew up, and then within like 3 weeks, she got verified on TikTok, and
it's fucked.
Over like millions of and she has 2 accounts, and both those accounts got verified and have millions of followers.
I think that's something
just insane.
Within like 3 weeks of being on TikTok, and that's like, I think that's why so many people gravitate to TikTok as well, because the opportunity is just completely endless.
I think I noticed that on TikTok. Like there were people who I was following where it's crazy. Yeah, there were people who I was following, and I saw like a few of their videos like way back in the day. Like Call Me Chris, if you guys know her.
No.
Okay, you might have seen her. Anyway, like there's a few people that like after like 6, 7, 8, 9 months, they'd like gone viral, blew up with like millions of followers, and I was like, fuck. I think it's created such like a great mindset where people realize that they can easily create their own success, but you just have to put in the time, the effort, the dedication. You've got to post, you've got to be on top of your content. But I think it's given people like a real big booster to be like, if I want to do something, there's like a huge platform for me to just do it. So 100%.
Yeah, I like to think as well, like the thing is like TikTok, as you were saying, like people gravitated to it because of like the fast success or the quick success. But I think like the thing I've noticed is the people that have the longevity and the people that like, are consistently going well and get big is like, because like, I posted on TikTok for a year and like maybe from like an outside perspective, it would seem like, oh, he's only been on for a year and, he's had all this growth and it's really cool. But like because like I started doing drama in like year 7. So it was almost like all the skills and stuff that I learned from drama and all these other comedians that I've got to meet, like it all got to culminate through TikTok. So I think
that's a bloody good point.
I would culminate, like I would, contribute most of my sort of, success or whatever it is, growth, to like the experiences that I've had before TikTok. Because I think if 100%. I didn't have that before, there's no way that I could have.
That's a bloody good point.
I think so many people, I think it's a great point because so many people will look at someone on TikTok and be like, he's so successful, he made it, or he's done this, he's popped off, but they don't realize
all the hard work,
the 1%ers that you were doing when you were in year 7, 8, 9, the little videos, the sketches, the little bits of comedy that you'd like, or the learning you did to get to that point. People don't see the 1%ers, they kind of just see he's doing really well now. But they don't see all the hard work that came before it.
Yeah,
like Charlie D'Amelio was like a state national dancer.
She's like a really good dancer. Like going through school. Yeah,
I don't actually know anything about her.
She was like a champion dancer.
Yeah,
and then she posted on TikTok, and then obviously got big because she's fucking like really talented at dancing.
But that's the thing. A lot of celebrities do say that. It's like, you see the successes now, but you don't see like all the no's and the heartache and the closed doors that got pushed in their face when they were trying to make it. People only see, oh my God, you're like, you made it, like you got lucky. It's like, nah, that's nothing to do with luck.
People
like,
see talent as just something that you just have.
Someone actually made a very good point. It's like, it's so funny how hardworking people always seem to be lucky. You know what I mean? It's like they call you lucky, but like, no, it's just hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work will outwin talent.
Lucky is literally winning the lotto. That's what lucky. That's what I would count as lucky.
Yeah.
Like becoming a great actor and making millions, or becoming a great musician or a great comedian and making millions. Like that's not luck. You don't just luckily become funny.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle is not luckily funny. Ricky Gervais is not luckily funny. Like they have a gift that they crafted and worked hard on.
Yeah.
Like have you ever heard that Steve Harvey talk about his first big break, where he said that he had maybe $100 left in his account, and he got called about a comedy sketch. It was a Comedy Central in the States, and he got called about doing a show, but he didn't have enough money to actually get there.
Fuck.
So then he literally had to then try and get a comedy special in the city that he was in, so that he could get enough money from that to then travel down. And he arrived in the city so early, he had nowhere to stay. So he got to the place early and he knocked the door and he was like, oh, I'm here. There's like, oh, I told you to show at 5 p.m. And he's like, yo, mate, I have nowhere else to go. So the guy was like, right, come in, go upstairs and don't come down. And he was sitting there starving. And he went downstairs and the guy was like, what are you doing? I told you not to come downstairs. He's like, bro, like, I'm starving. Just let me go down the road and get a KFC, and I promise I'll come back. And literally, he got back, got and had food, got back to the show, and that night he was on the stage with like Jamie Foxx. And
Shit.
who else was there? Was Jamie? This is when none of them had actually like made it yet. They were still doing their little. No, this wasn't when they were big. This was like when they're first like just at the bottom. It's like Jamie Foxx, and I think like Dave Chappelle was there as well.
Jamie Foxx is stand up.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is hilarious.
Like a comic before acting,
Because I know he does singing, he does
Jamie
acting.
Foxx is literally one of the most talented people, like in Hollywood.
Fuck, I didn't know he did stand up.
He can sing, dance. He's stand up, like actor, But yeah, that's Steve Harvey. But like you said, like there's just so much that you have to get through just to get to that point where people see you and learn like, yeah, he's good, he's successful. Yeah. But no one ever really talks about that part, which is annoying. But in terms of like your skits, where do those ideas come from? Because you have an abundance on TikTok and every single one is like very original. And then you do like different parts. You're like, I don't know, toxic boyfriend.
The toxic boyfriend one was absolutely
so
incredible.
Funny.
What was the one? It's like, oh, you know, like men's mental health is like on the rise. So if you've done me, you're like contributing to that. I was like, that's fucking amazing.
Where do you get?
Where does that come from?
Yeah, where do you get the ideas from? I know a few people comment and ask you to do skits as well, but
so like some ideas do definitely come from like the fan base and the audience. Like I think the hardest part is coming up with the idea. That's without a doubt the hardest bit. And the thing with TikTok that I don't necessarily love is like my biggest video is the one that I'm like not the least proud of, but I don't think it's funny at all. Like it's really not funny, and it's it was a person whose personality is that they wake up early.
Oh, okay, yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah,
that was very funny.
I quite liked
it. In my opinion, I was like, oh, this just isn't like that funny, but the idea was relatable, and sometimes I try and not get caught up in like, oh, like, you know, people love this video because it's really funny. Sometimes people just read that's why the thing I spend the most of time on is the caption at the top of the video.
Yeah.
Because if people read it and it's too niche, no, even if the topic's broad, they'll scroll away.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say like your friend who, or the, like, you know what I mean? I try and make it relatable. So like that's something I don't necessarily love, but that's a tough bit. But when I come up with the ideas, the main like sort of inspiration would definitely be from the school I went to, because the private schools were very filled with those sorts of guys.
I knew it. That's why we have a question about that.
Yeah, like,
so is it based on someone? Is there someone specific? You know, when you do it, you're like, "Is that cunt?"
No, probably people in general.
There's a lot of different faces that come into my mind, and the funniest thing is because like I was at this private school, and like, you know, growing up, like I wasn't like I was definitely mad. Like I had a lot of friends at this school, but like I was never properly clicking with them. Like I didn't understand why I wasn't fully connecting with them, and it took me a really long time to realize. I think like it took me until I was like 17 to realize that I was like gay, which was like hard to like come to terms with, because I was like, oh, there's no way I'm gay, because like oh, it's so funny. Like I would like try and get with a chick at a party. And then I like, I wouldn't do it or whatever. And I'd be like really cut up. Genuinely, I'd be like, I really wanted to kiss that girl. And then I'd go home and like bat off to like fucking gay porn. But it didn't click. You know what I mean? It didn't click.
I was not expecting that segue into that.
Your mum is going to be fuming.
Hey, mum.
It like didn't click.
Yeah.
And then I guess like being able to be like a voyeur of watching dudes try and pick up chicks and the way that they would talk about them was
that's a good point.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was so objective in it because I had no stake. I was like, I don't care about, getting with these girls or these guys. I can now see like all the folly that they go through to try and get with a girl. So that really helped with like the toxic boyfriend or like, the sexist private school boy, stuff like that.
Oh, some of it's incredible. Like when I think some of your videos where the guy like calls a girl a bitch just because like she's not hooking up with it. Some of it is just so funny because I've like met people or come across stories like that. And I think, in comedy, there's like a way, like Ricky Gervais does it and stuff like that, where you comment on quite controversial topics, but it's a way to also like raise awareness to also what's happening, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and it sucks because like I'm thinking like the thing that annoys me is like everyone says like, and it's I'm lucky. Because everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky that you're gay because you can say that. And I'm like, I just think everyone should be able to say that.
Oh,
like,
100%,
I don't think,
you should, 100%.
Yeah, like if I like go like, oh, this chick's a fucking bitch. Like she didn't even get with me. And I make that joke and everyone's like, oh, he's gay, so he's allowed to say it. And if I was straight and then they were like, oh, you can't say that, then it's a little bit like, but what do you, like, I'm still making fun of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's in the context. If you're watching it, you can see it's like for a comedic effect. You're doing it to bring light on something that's happening that it shouldn't be happening that way. So yeah,
exactly.
I definitely agree
so
with
yeah, that's sort of, it's definitely like all like who I've been brought up with and like, that's definitely like the main inspo for it all.
I literally, that's that because whenever Dan told me that he was chatting to you, that you're up for coming on, I was like, that's definitely something we have to bring up because, like, the content is actually so funny, but it's funny because you're making it comedy, but that is literally what it's like.
Yeah.
But did you guys went to school in Northern Ireland and in
London.
England?
Yeah.
So I find it really interesting that, like, because I'm just full Australian grown up, and, like, it's funny how it can still sort of cross barriers internationally.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, mate,
And
because...
we all have very similar, like we're very similar cultures.
It's quite similar cultures. And in Northern Ireland, like rugby is massive there as well.
Of course,
and same way in Australia, like rugby guys are like the quote unquote alphas or the top of the hierarchy in schooling. And the same back home, like the rugby guys would think that they were the top. So like they would like get all the girls love the footy players and the rugby players. Same thing back home. And then there's also that side where there is that kind of rugby guys, they cheat or they verbally abuse women because they think they're at a level where they're allowed to because they have this kind of social status and all the teachers are going to love them because they're doing so well for the school and bringing money into the school. Yeah. So that's how it crosses over so well because I completely get it because I know whenever you do them, I can also think of people in my head from back home who's just like, that's
so interesting.
That's literally you.
100%.
But I think it's so important that you do that because I've shown people your videos and they're just like, that's literally guys.
That's spot on. They're like, it's just fucking
that's
brilliant.
Spot on.
It's so interesting that can happen because also like the biggest thing that helped me is this realization that I had when making videos and I was like, oh, there we go. Yeah. Was like
sorry, so that bit. So the biggest thing you realized
was just like that we're not as, and it's like it's a sad realization if you're not in comedy, but if you are, it's just like such a great thing. It's like we're not as individual as we sort of think we are, or unique. Like something that I might think is a super unique thing that I did as a kid, and then I see a TikTok and it has 3 million likes, and everyone goes, "Oh, I did this too," and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not an individual at all. Like, I guess we're all the same person.
That's
so,
fucking
I think
miserable.
I think that's why people like memes as well.
Exactly.
Because memes I think that's why the reason why I initially gravitated toward memes, because people were sharing these memes and they just came out whenever Instagram wasn't massive, but they started on Facebook where they're sharing these memes of like, oh, when you're a kid and you would you count your steps walking down the path and you try not to step on the cracks or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought I was the only one that did that.
Yeah.
And it was like that literally half the world's been doing that for the past 50 years.
Like, well, fucking shit.
But like that's a very, very good point though, because I think humans in general are a lot more
Similar
than we realize.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone individually is somewhat unique, but in terms of like our thought processes and the things that we do, and it's all to do with what's the word I'm looking for? Evolution. It's all to do with evolution. Like, we all come from one entity. So it's like, it just makes sense, because at the end of the day, you've never told someone that you're counting how many steps you're taking in the path or you're starting not to step in the crack. But the fact that so many people around the world also do that is kind of freaky.
Yeah.
And you burn ants as well when you were a kid in the garden?
Yeah, I do those. I tried to anyway. I did. I was like, this isn't fucking working. But yeah.
I wasn't that evil.
I used to get,
wasn't that
do you
evil.
have like daddy long legs here, the equivalent? They're like these.
Oh yeah, we got daddy long legs.
So I used to like capture them as a kid.
I'm too scared.
Like, no, because they aren't like, they haven't got they're like really small.
True.
It's like a
Tiny
little
body.
Like really tiny body. And I would like pin one down as a kid, hold it by their leg, and they'd like try to get away. And I would sometimes like singe their legs or like cut their wings.
Are you okay?
I did.
There's a body. I knew there was a body under there.
I did this when I was a kid. Mum was like, "You're 24. You got to stop doing this now." 24. She's like, "You can't be doing this. You can't be doing this."
What's your next plan? Are you quite strategic with your posting and what you post on Instagram, or is it just like on TikTok, or is it kind of like, I've got an idea, I'm going to do it and post it, or you're like, okay, what am I going to do today? Because you kind of touch that, you kind of like to post every day, or
yeah. So I do like to post every day just to keep numbers and all that sort of stuff, growth. But it's not so much tactical, but more like superstitious. Like,
okay.
I am like I have to post at 4:30 or around 4:30 every day, and no earlier than 4:30. It'll always be like 4:30, maybe at the latest. Like, if it's 4:30 and I'm driving and I haven't posted it yet, I'm like racing home, or I might even pull over on the side of the road and post. Yeah. Like, so like, I'm very superstitious about the time. Because is there like the algorithm, I feel like the algorithm rewards almost like, repetitive, computery, like posting. And then I usually wake up on the day and I'm like, the hardest bit again is just like thinking, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to deal with this? So like, that all stuff is, it's very superstitious-y. Yeah, that's sort of how I go about it there.
I was going to ask, where do you draw the line between following trends and doing what you want to do? So like, obviously there are things that you want to post, but where do you kind of be like, people want that, but I don't want to do that, but I want to do this. I want to be authentic, but also, where do you kind of draw that line?
I think the biggest one was when I was like, growing at the start, like when maybe like my first 70k followers, I was always posting either a private school teacher or a PE, like the PE private school teacher, or like the footy boy, and it was only those two. Yeah. And I think the type of audience that I had, obviously very grateful for, but they weren't the sort of audience that would like my live comedy, because my live comedy is more like the videos I'm doing now. Yeah. Okay. So there was that moment where I had to be like, okay, like, I'm not going to stop doing these types of videos, but I need to show that I'm not just this one note. Because you all see those people that just do like Eshe videos. Yeah. That's all they do. And it's a little bit like, well, you're just a bit one note. So I didn't want to be that. So then I made an active effort to not do any more private school or anything like that. So then it evolved, and I've
noticed that your content's just like completely, you create so many different characters.
And it might be like the toxic boyfriend, which was like similar. But again, I was trying to link it to like more of my sort of like a female audience and growing that. And so like that was all different like that. But I guess like trying to be, I don't like to do trends. I always want to try and do my own original stuff. But if I see a character that I really like, then I will, obviously I'll say like, oh, this is inspired by this person's character, and I like
I think
to
it's cool.
give it another go because I think like that's really fun. Like, there's this one guy because like it's hard to love TikTokers that do the same thing as you. Because you're like, oh, I want to be better than you.
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
There's this one English guy called Jack Joseph.
Yeah,
Do you guys
bro,
know him?
I've just started watching his stuff. He does this like undercover cop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He is.
he's good.
Yeah,
Like,
he's funny.
It was crazy.
He's so awkward.
Yeah.
It makes
He's
me like
so
cringe.
funny.
Have you got a reefer, mate?
Yeah, it's just, I'm
he's
sitting
so
there like,
good.
He's funny.
He because we like became mutuals like maybe 2 months ago, right?
nice.
Like, and I was like, holy crap! Like, I love this guy before I started doing TikTok. And then as soon as we became mutuals, we chatted for a bit, and then that's when he started doing the undercut videos. And I think he got like he hit 1 million from 400K in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, he blew up
Jesus.
pretty
He
quick.
exploded,
He had
yeah.
like a really massively viral one, but like it was an undercover cop one, I think it was.
Yeah,
Like
that
his
was the
first,
one.
it might have been his first one, and then he's just been doing loads of them. But I think I remember seeing his first, and I was like, "That's fucking funny."
The thing with me is like I don't. Because the thing is, like, let's say, like, I obviously ragged on people that just do, like, the Eshe videos.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many... When you see them and you see those people, it's the same joke every time.
Yeah.
They go, Eshe, brah, and like, oh, yeah, got my Centrelink, and, like, it's
Yeah.
just the same jokes in every video.
Yeah.
Double two, double.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, if you do, like, for example, he's doing, like, the undercover cop videos, and he's probably done, like, 8 of them.
Yeah.
But they're all, like, none of the jokes are really the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same character, but he's still got jokes within them, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
why they're so good
Doing
and
so
funny.
well.
So, like, you can reward repetitive, because that's what TikTok rewards, is repetition. And that's why it's like you can do it without being a hack. Like you can still make, you know, character-based videos different, even if it's the same character.
I guess that's where like the talent comes from.
exactly.
You know, that's where like the
exactly.
hard work and talent comes in, being able to like create that repetitiveness, but make slight little changes all the time.
Yeah.
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 I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But we wanted to touch on like being offensive in comedy.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Sick.
Yeah.
Because we find that, especially in this day and age, there's this quote-unquote cancel culture.
Yeah.
Where people are always trying to like cancel comedians or cancel celebrities for something they said 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 10 years ago they tweeted. Like Kevin Hart, for example. I mean, over 10 or 15 years ago, he posted something on Twitter, and then people wanted him to apologize for it, and he was just like, no.
Yeah, he said like, if my son
was
is
it?
gay, I'm gonna get the dollhouse and like break it over his head or something like that. It was like a joke.
Yeah,
It was
something
a
like
I think he
joke.
did like a show about this after to like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was like it wasn't. It was just like like you know what I mean. It was
Yeah.
literally nothing.
So I think so. He was obviously meant to host the Grammy. That's when it popped up.
the Oscars. I think
Yeah,
it was.
Oscars,
Yeah,
that's what it was. So he was meant to host that, and then this came out, and people were just like, "You need to apologize, or else you're not going to host." And he was like, "I'm not going to apologize. Like, I'm a comedian."
Ricky Gervais, though, this is why I love him, because if you've seen Ricky Gervais on the Oscars, they've brought him back over and over again, but he just does not give a fuck.
Oh, he's so offensive
Like,
at the Oscars.
he is so offensive.
so funny.
But he's just like, I don't care, because comedy is subjective. Like, it's like you're turning up into someone's house, not liking their furniture, and having a go at them for it. If you don't like the comedy, just either scroll past it,
Or just don't go to the show.
unfollow them, or don't go to the fucking show.
Yeah.
Like, comedy isn't meant to tailor towards every single person, and that's where I think there's a bit of, like, disassociation.
How do you find
Yeah.
that in terms of like with your comedy? Because obviously you talk about the toxic boyfriend, and there's sexual harassment, there's toxic masculinity. Like, do you find that? Have you ever got any people messaging you like, this is so inappropriate, or what the hell, if they can't like get the joke or understand the joke?
And I've never had my first video that went massive. I was really worried about because I posted it and I was just worried that people wouldn't get
it?
the irony and and it was like, it was the first ever video I did was the school captain thanking the guest speaker. It was like a private school boy that thanks the guest speaker to come that
Yeah.
talks about domestic violence against women.
Oh, yeah, I
And he's
think
like,
I've
I've
seen this
just
one."
realised we probably shouldn't bash the ever-loving fuck out of women. Like, I think that's probably what we shouldn't do. Yeah, and I was...
that video.
Yeah. That was my first one, and I was
Is
expecting...
that your first like big viral?
Yeah.
Okay.
and I was expecting...
For the audience, how many like views did that get?
that got about 600,000.
My goodness.
Yeah,
that's
so
good.
that was like the first one I think that got over like, you know, 10K or something.
Yeah.
And then that for me was like, I was expecting comments like, you shouldn't be joking about this. Like, you're not a woman. You can't make these jokes. And I actually didn't get any backlash for that video at all. Because I think the important thing was, like, I wasn't making fun of the
people
girl
going
that
through
was
it.
getting beaten. I was making fun of, you know, the attitude that men have towards it.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think, look, two things. My honest opinion on comedy, which isn't a very popular one, but my honest opinion is you should be able to joke about anything as long as it's funny. Like, you should be able to say, like, stuff that is, you know, like, breaking, you know, maybe what people would see as, like, you know, the bounds. But but as long as it's not, like, maliciously intending to be hurtful, like, as long as it's funny, like, then I think you should be able to joke about it. Like, Louis C.K. had a joke about the N-word. Have you guys seen that?
No.
It's really funny. Like, the way he, like, does it, and he's not, like, using the
words?
slur as as a way to be like, oh, this is, like, you know, I'm going to be funny because I'm saying this word.
Yeah.
It's just like he says it, like, the way, like, the word will pop up in his head or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah.
And it's like, and it's a really funny bit because it's coming from him being like, I just don't understand, like, why this happened. You know what I mean? Like, why I think so. Like, I don't know. I think you should, as long as it's funny, you should be able to joke about it. And, like, the Dave Chappelle thing that came out recently, like, obviously there's a lot of cancelling there.
I'm still watching this. I haven't finished the whole thing.
I haven't watched it yet. I've just, like, read articles about, like, the general crux of the conversation. But a few people have said that
I've heard some of it sounded quite like...
The whole backlash of what's going on almost, like, proved his point from the skit. Which is like...
Is that what he was trying to do?
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he's trying to prove a point of how society is nowadays. And I think one of the points he makes in it, he's pretty much talking about people who are oppressed in society, whether you're black, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Asian, whether you're gay, or just part of the LGBTQ community. And his issue was, for example, you say you can't be an oppressed person and still be an oppressor of another group. So, for example, you can't be a gay white guy who is oppressed and then be racist towards black people or be, like, having Asian hate.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, you yourself should know what it's like to feel littler than the norm. So then you shouldn't then be going off and being like, oh, yeah, I hate them because so-and-so or this and that. It's like, that was a massive point.
Yeah.
And then also you talked about how cancel culture is a massive thing, but it's Dave Chappelle, like, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, the problem that I had, so I watched it, and the problem I had with it was, like, you know, for me, who's obviously against cancel culture and against, you know, just tearing people down for things that, you know, they did when they were, I don't know, like 10 or whatever, like, I think, like, it sucks because I can't, like, you know, take down the special and be like, yeah, like, you know, it's not a good special. I sort of have to back it up because, like, I didn't think it was funny, and that's the tough thing again, because as I said, like, it's got to be funny if you want to say that stuff, and, like, it's Dave Chappelle, like, he's the GOAT, and I was a bit disappointed in just, like, sort of, like, just, like, not that funny, the jokes, and then, obviously, then when he was saying, you know, certain things, like, you're sort of like, if only that was funnier, like, you would have had my full support. And obviously I support it, and I don't think it should be taken down, because that would just be, like, that would be terrible.
Yeah.
But it is one of those tough things where it's like, if only you'd made it funny so that you know, like, we could get around it a little bit more.
Yeah, I get that. I still need to watch it. What do you think of it? How many of you have you watched?
Oh, I'm like only like 20 minutes in. Is it just one long episode?
Yeah,
I think I'm only like 20 minutes in, but I can tell, like, because I've heard some people's reactions, I could tell because some of the stuff he was saying was quite, like, risque.
Yeah.
So, like, I can understand why that's and I'm only 20 minutes in, so I'm like, fuck, what is going to happen?
He's always been risky, though. Every time he does a comedy special, because he obviously has this deal with Netflix where he used to do a certain amount. He's got like 30 million or something stupid like that. But every single time he does a comedy sketch, he always gets cancelled, or the people always try and cancel him. I'm like, just stop watching his shit. Like, you know what he's gonna come out with. Like, Dave Chappelle is at that stage in his career that he just doesn't care. Like, like, if Netflix cancelled him, someone else is gonna pick him up.
The thing that annoys me is because, like, I obviously TikTok is a very, like, it's a woke app, and there's a lot of people there that are from, you know, different backgrounds, both, you know, sexually and racially. So like, the thing that really annoyed me. There was this one comment, and it has like lived in my head for so long. And I did this video about fussy eaters, which I am. I'm a really fussy eater.
Yeah, I remember saying
and it was
that.
making fun of fussy eaters. Yeah, and I made a joke where I'm like, you know, I'm speaking to like a girl or we're at like a dinner, and I'm like, "You're such a child. Like, I can't believe you're acting like this." And then like the waiter comes over, and I'm like, "Oh, hi, can I just get the nuggets and chips, and can you make sure the food's not touching?"
I used to do that as a kid.
Yeah,
I used to do that.
And then you know, I saw this comment, and like, because I'm so actively trying to be inclusive, like I would never like, you know, take down a group of people that, you know, people would see as being like a minority group. Do you know what I mean?
That's,
like,
yeah, but I think that's just like in itself is like people coming to just be offended. They're turning up to be offended.
And this comment said, "Hey man, you know, food, not wanting your food to touch is common in autistic people, so it comes off as ableist what you're doing." And I'm like,
goodness.
did you have to take it there? Like, why did you have to take it to that point? Like, I'm making fun of fussy eaters. That's the people I'm making fun of.
Not people with autism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The title of the video wasn't "How dumb are autistic people." Like, if it was that, then yeah, like you take me down for being ableist. But like, that's the thing that annoyed me, because I'm like, why do you have to take it there? And then it's just like
It just creates a problem out of
exactly
nothing.
like that's not the point of the video. And I get it, sure, like it's something I don't do. That was a self-deprecating video. So now if I do something that autistic people do, then can I not make fun of it now because now I'm being ableist, or is it self-deprecating? So then there's all these lines to blur. It's just like, if I haven't I think it should be pretty straightforward, but clearly not on TikTok. It's like, if I've, you know, made a video and this is the title and this is what I'm making fun of, that's what I'm making fun of.
Nothing else. But
Yeah,
do
and
not
if
try
there's
and like
don't
go
try
any
and
broader.
split hairs of like this and this, because it's not.
It's very tunnel vision
beneficial.
jokes. It's just like you put the title and like this is it, nothing else.
Yeah.
I think the thing
on.
is, obviously, it's a lot harder because I don't make content, so I don't know what it's like to read through the comments and get some stuff like that. But I think it's like the videos you upload, they get views, they're working, most of the people like them. You're always going to get Karens who are turning up just to start a fight. But even those people who are doing that, they're adding towards your algorithm. They're coming on, they're watching your content, they're writing comments. So even them, they're helping like boost your views anyway.
Yeah, it's not like this is the thing. Like, if they said like, because here's the thing: if they said this video wasn't funny, I'd be like, okay,
That's fair.
Like,
Yeah.
I get that, but to call me ableist, it's just so like annoying. It's just like, oh,
just like,
all the
fuck
effort
off.
that I try and put in, because then it makes me want to go off and make a video that's just like, you know, extremely like, you know what I mean, like racist or extremely homophobic. I'm just like, fine, like now if I'm being ableist, I may as well go,
just go
to the full
moon.
extent and
Yeah.
just absolutely cancel myself.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, you click on the profile of the person that made the comment and it's like a LGBT flag, and I'm like, we're in the same group.
Yeah.
So do you want to like? We're on the same team. Like, let's have more LGBT creators. Like, like anyway, it's. I can go on for hours.
I think there's a funny video in there, like some content on like keyboard warriors.
Oh,
like,
100%.
I think there'd be some good content
yeah,
in there
man.
somewhere.
It's crazy. But like, look, I respect the opinion, obviously, and I take it on board. I'm never gonna make another video. No, like,
They made a really fair point.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm leaving comedy for good.
That's it. I'm done.
I was going to ask, who do you pull your like inspiration from in terms of like comedians in the industry, like who well-known comedians?
My biggest good question. I guess like when I'm on stage, there's a comic who taught me all through school called Steen Raskopoulos, and he's in England now. He was Australian. He's an English comic, and he does improvisation and he does like sketch, like solo sketch, so it's just him and he'll interact with the audience. And now when I used to do stand-up, but now I do more like characters and sketch on stage, so I'll bring up audience members and I'll make them do funny shit, and you know, maybe I'll interact with people all the time, and like that's sort of how I like to be on stage, because and I guess like, so like he gave me those sort of like, you know, tools to build like that. And then in terms of like videos and stuff, I actually don't know, because I guess it's hard, because the people that I like to watch my videos aren't like I love to watch have you seen I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson on Netflix, that sketch show?
No.
It's a funny sketch show. But yeah, I don't know, like there's not many like comics I guess that I watch, because I don't really watch comedy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you know?
Yeah, I hate comedy movies.
Oh, okay. No, but
I
it's
like
like
some.
stand-up.
I love some. I can't watch stand up either, because
Really?
it feels like because I'm like analyzing it. Unless it's Dave
Fair.
Chappelle, like I would love watching a Chappelle special, or like You know, I love Bobby Lee. Do you know him? Like, I love him, like, telling stories on podcasts and stuff like that. So there are some people that I get inspiration from, but I'll never sit down and be like, I want to watch a comedy movie. Unless it's an old one that I've already seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could never be like, oh,
Are you into
comedy
satires?
movies. Yeah, I like satires, stuff like that. But I love, like, I don't know, like, I'm into, like, weird... Have you seen The Cabin in the Woods with Chris Hemsworth? That, like, horror movie?
I've heard about that.
Oh, I think I
Yeah.
have seen it. Is that where the... No, I haven't seen it.
It's like...
But I have.
You think it's just, like, a cabin in...
I was thinking of another thing.
I've seen that one.
I was thinking of Strangers, you know, where they've got the white masks on and they're, like, outside this house in the woods.
seen that.
Yeah, that's
Great movie. That's a scary movie, yeah. But I guess, like, I watch a lot of horror movies. I don't know what... I think horror and comedy are really closely linked. So I like...
Really?
Yeah. I think they're, like, the most... I reckon they're, like, the closest two genres.
I mean, I would know, like, if you look back at, like, old horror films, when you watch them now, because they're so old, you can see the comedy in it.
Yeah.
Like, new horror, you'd still, like, compare it, like...
Yeah, I just think, like, because it's, like, so... Because comedy and horror, like, the reactions that you both get are both extremely cathartic. Like, the act of recoiling and then the act of laughter. I've really intrinsically linked, I think, because if I can make you laugh, I reckon as well I can, like, tell you a story that could scare you. Just because of, I don't know, how, you know, you can, you know, interact or get the ideas of how to make people laugh, I think. I don't know, it's like a weird little thought that I have sometimes, but... Yeah, no real comedy inspirations other than the people who have taught me before in the past.
Have you been heckled before?
All the time. It's my favorite thing.
What do you do
to, like...
I love that. People that can handle, like, Jimmy Carr, if you know him.
Yeah.
He's, like, the heckle king master.
It's
He's
all
like,
fake. Did you
all
know?
of it?
Yeah.
Well, fuck this.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Fuck, that's like...
Like, they're pre-written. All his ones.
Nah.
Yeah, because, like, I went and saw his show when he came to Sydney.
Yeah.
And my friend went as well. And he has, like, this big, like, heckle segment in his show. And I went and I was like, oh, what were your heckles? That like, did anyone start? And they were like, oh, well, this happened, this happened. And I went,
it was the exact same?
Exact same. I went, well, I got all those.
Shut your
Like,
mouth.
and there was no different ones.
What? I didn't want to know that.
Yeah.
You just ruined it. That's like telling the kid the chance Santa.
I'm absolutely broken. I've
Yeah.
watched that, like, heckle video on YouTube because it's all of them, like, you know, compilated. I've watched that so many
I'd
times.
say 95% of them would be not real, yeah.
What's, like, the best, worst? Yeah, what's, like, the best heckle that you've got?
Well, heckling's great because it's your
You have to be
opportunity
witty. You have to be, like, quite witty to be able to come back at it, I think.
You know, I have... Once you do it for so long, you have now one in the bank. So, again, this is probably what Jimmy Carr's had. You have them in the bank. So,
Yeah.
if I get heckled by someone, like... Maybe a bit like... looks a bit like you...
What's about to go down?
Like, I would probably... Like, if you went like, oh, like, blah, 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 like, you suck or whatever, I'd be like, oh... Cheers, dude. You look like you sell pills to 12-year-old girls at music festivals. Like that.
You do look like that
Yeah,
as well.
you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that
I love the
you
fact
go
that
for.
if it was someone like you...
Does he know that?
So, like, you've got
girl,
one...
you've been
Oh my god, how's he watching me?
Like, there was this... Like, look, I've seen some fucking brutal heckle... Like, I've seen comedians get taken down by heckles, but the way you do it, like, the way you do the heckle is... You take it on and it can't shake you. Because someone goes like...
Oh, yeah.
It's they never really heckle like you suck. Like, that's a very rare heckle to get. The more heckles you see are like, let's say I'm like, oh, so I went to the shops the other day and I bought like a loaf of bread. And they're like, that sometimes people will be like, what else did you get? Is that it? You know,
Yeah.
like they try and...
And like intervene.
Yeah, and you, like the best way to do that is just go, shut the fuck up. Like, and then they'll laugh at that.
Yeah.
Or, like, but sometimes you see comics get a little bit shaken. They go, oh,
And then that's
I don't
it.
know.
That's like...
then you're done.
Yeah.
As
I
soon as
think-
it wavers you.
I feel that's really similar to when we go out with, like, all the lads. Like, if they say something as, like, a comment, if you show one moment where it's got you, instead of just, like, letting reflect off you, they're like vultures. Everyone is now going to come at you from every
always
angle.
gets it, and and he bites all the time.
If someone throws out a line and you're like, fuck,
It's hard not
I'm done
to.
for.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Once you bite you, it's over and done with.
There's been some good ones. I love to interact with the audience. It's like a part of my set. And I asked this one guy, I was like, oh, what's your name? And he was really drunk. He was trying to be funny. He was like, shit cunt. And I was like, oh, you look like a shit cunt. Like, so like, there was that. And then like, this wasn't me. This was another comic. This girl yapping at the front row, like, oh my God, like the whole time. And she was like being so, like, she was disrupting the whole show. And people had paid money to see their tickets. And he gets up and this guy was like, I'm fucking done with this chick. I really want her to heckle me. And so he's halfway through his set and she starts like speaking again, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, can you shut up? And she keeps biting back. And so they were going back and forth for a little bit. And he had like this like trigger ready to pull, and he walks away and he whispers into the mic, he's like, it's always the chubby ones.
Oh.
Yeah. And like, you know, like bit of a low blow, but when it gets to that,
fuck it.
when it gets to that point, yeah, and she like got up and she went, fuck you, and she just left.
She left?
Yeah, she left.
I think the guy who you've been on a podcast with, Luke.
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah.
I've seen some of his like Insta content where he got heckled.
Yeah.
He's handled like, where was he, in Darwin or like Gold Coast, I think? And he's like handled quite a good few heckles.
He does it really well because again, like he encourages audiences. Like I've been to like 2 of his shows, like when he was in Sydney, and like that's good, like real crowd work, because like it's like he's quick and you can tell that it's always different and stuff like that. So yeah. It's a great... It is, like... People think, oh, it's my worst nightmare getting heckled, but it actually, like... It can just completely flip your set from, like, an 8 to a 10.
Good. Well, to just finish off, we just have, like, one more question, but just want to, like, touch a little bit, again, on TikTok. Like, do you have any kind of advice for someone who potentially... How old are you again?
22.
Yeah, so, like, for anyone younger going through high school who may... want to kind of get into comedy, or anyone at our age who wants to get into comedy, do you have any advice on how they can, I don't know, build a following like as big as and as strong as yours over TikTok? Like what would be your key takeaways?
I think the biggest deterrent for me was like the idea of like, oh, I have to set up an account and then I have to post and then I have to do all that. So I think like the biggest advice that I would say is like, maybe if you feel like you want to get into it, make the TikTok account and just leave it. Don't feel like you have to post or promote or anything. Just like make an account, or YouTube, whatever it is, just make it. And then don't force a video. Just like leave it. It's fine. And then when you feel like, oh, I want to make a video now, then you can film it and then it's ready to post. So you don't have to make the account. So I think like breaking it up in the sense of like getting it ready for when you might want to do it. Yeah. Because for me, the biggest deterrent, which sounds weird, was just like it's such an effort, like setting it all up. And I also think just like doing what you, I don't know, because again, it's like I was most nervous about like the more nervous I am about a video, the better it does, and the more reception I get. So it's like, don't just like do one that you think this will go really well and people are going to like this, because then you've clearly not done an authentic video. Do one that you're like, fuck, like this is ridiculous what I'm about to put out. Yeah. And I think that's probably, my 2 little bits.
Love it.
Advice.
When's your next like stand-up going to be?
Tuesday the 9th is when I'm starting up the Clovelly Hotel. Will be like a weekly comedy night, which is going to be fucking sick. I'd love to see it, man. Yeah, that'll be really fun. And then, Thursdays there's Neil and Friends, which I do quite often, and stuff like that at the Potts Point Hotel. So
we'll just come and like heckle the fucking shit out.
Yeah, please. We'll pre-plan them.
I listened to your podcast. It's subject to change. It's shit. Hey, well, just waving them in the back. But just let everyone know where they can find you on TikTok and all the other social media handles.
My Instagram is just _Will Gibb _, which is great because if you tag me, you know how there's always a line underneath, it just looks like Will Gibb, which is just awesome.
Perfect.
Which that was unintentional. And then on TikTok it's Will Yum Gibb. Awesome. William Gibb.
Love it.
Awesome. Mate, thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you,
lads. Love the content, excited to see what comes up, and excited to see you next stand-up, bro.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Guys, like, share, follow, subscribe, all that fun jazz, and we will see you very soon. Do you want to add anything, mate?
Yes, you will. Just going to pose in front of that camera for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Just in this one.
The iPhone?
Yeah, the iPhone. So 3, 2, 1. And that's us.
Let's
Thank
go
you
get
very
pissed.
much, everyone.
Mad.
Bye.
Sweet.